Yo, what's going on YouTube and welcome back. This week we have the Arms Dealer Grandmaster Nightfall, which got reworked this season, and honestly, I quite like the change in scenery. I found it a little simple, and maybe that's because I was abusing the crap out of some subclass mechanics. But one thing that I did like about it is that for the most part, you're only fighting one threat at a time. I only ran it a couple times, but I learned a lot from the few times I ran it. Now, the first time I ran it, I was using the Omni Hunter to go invisible all the time, and I'll put my build here behind me. After that, I actually questioned, well, what if the viewer doesn't go invisible? Maybe you guys are using a Titan or a Warlock. So I got on to Strand instead and took advantage of that mechanic just as much. These are the mods I was using and do recommend for Strand. Now, as far as the loadouts go, a friend of mine was running with me and he was making Wishinder look pretty spicy. My only other suggestion is to make sure that you're using a rocket launcher. Not only is it overcharged, meaning you deal 25% more damage, but the threshers are probably your biggest threat in some of the places of this nightfall, so it's really necessary that you take them out. As always, y'all drop a like and sub for more content, and if you don't mind, drop a small comment down below some ways you think I can improve on my content. I'll do my best to accommodate for that, and I want you guys to know that I really am putting it out here and trying for you guys, and I want to know what you guys want to see or if this method helps out at all. Anyways, y'all stay positive out there. Y'all enjoy the footage. Peace. Start off, you'll spawn in this room with one barrier and a couple of red bars. I used the strain grenade to spin up the barrier behind me, took out the ads, and then we just team shot him. But basically, if you kill the little red bars and just keep the barrier suspended, then it's very easy in this first room. Once you get outside, your team needs to focus the thresher first, play your distance. There's only one barrier to start off, but a large amount of ads. If you can just stun the barrier and maybe even take out the snipers from afar, they're your most lethal targets at the beginning, and then you can start working on the little guys in between barrier stuns. Now, the second group of ads will spawn alongside an unstop. Again, just play the distance and have the unstop push up to you. You don't even have to leave the door that you guys came out of if you aren't comfortable with it. But if you do, that's cool. Just play your cover and in between stuns, try clearing all the red bars while he's stunned. Using this method, you should have basically you and the unstop last alive. When you head through the lift, it will spawn two gladiators and a yellow bar phalanx. The phalanx tends to backpedal towards the group. Just head to your right and take shots at the group so that the dogs don't push across the bridge. It's not required that you do this, but it does help relieve a little bit of the pressure because you'll have a better angle on your enemies anyway. On the next lift, you have a decent group of ads in the back right corner and one barrier. I launched a rocket over there. Do whatever you have to do to get the barrier alone. Just bully him for a little bit while one teammate kills the yellow bar required for the ball to drop. Now, after dunking the ball, watch out for the thresher. Listen to me. Watch out for the thresher. It's coming in hot and it's going to take you guys out. So after you dunk the ball, just focus on the thresher alone. After the thresher's gone, if you look to your right, more than likely there'll be a barrier and some ads that have just recently spawned. As always, keep your distance, stun that barrier if you can, and then take out the yellow bars and red bars in between barrier stuns. And this is a pretty decent time to use one of your supers, and after clearing all these ads, pushing up the hill, there's a single unstop. Probably the easiest ad you'll ever kill in your life because it's just him and one other guy, like they're about to take you guys on 2v3. You just get a good stun on him and y'all wipe him out real quick. After exiting the building, go outside. Once again, there's a thresher waiting. Just take one or two rockets, launch it up there for him, and y'all take it out because it is a pretty big threat. Right underneath the thresher will be a few gladiators and a single unstop. Take them out from range. They're not very threatening at all either. And before you go up the hill, try shooting the cannon off of the ship so it doesn't shoot you when you're fighting the ads shortly to come. Now, once you get up the hill, there's an unstop and another barrier champion. This is one of the few times where you're going to have more than one champ out at a time. If you aren't stranded and don't feel comfortable fighting close, then just peck away at the unstop without stunning it and have it push you down the hill a little bit. And once you get it alone, you can then stun it and pick it off as a team. After both the unstop and the barrier are dead, there's just one guy that's carrying the ball that you're going to need to dunk. Once you dunk the ball, there's going to be a large amount of ads spawn and an unstop that's going to be heading your way from the ramp. Now, if you're ready, this is not going to be a big deal because you won't let them spread out. go ahead and have one of your teammates, if not yourself, go ahead and pop a super, throw some nades. I would save your heavy because it's just a bunch of little guys and one champ, but I would just go ahead and pop one super and just get it out of the way, like I did here. Slowly pushing up, there's a couple of snipers, and the best suggestion I have for this is to split up on left and right to get different angles so that the snipers can't pick you guys off from the same trajectory. If you're like me, you're not running sniper resistance, so this actually is a little bit of a lethal guy. He can pick you off together, so just get different angles and use your cover wisely. Now, after getting the ball and dunking it, get on your Sparrow and head to the big room with the tank. I know it looks a little bit intimidating at first, but it's not nearly as bad as it seems. There's only one unstop in addition to the tank. Now, as far as I know, it will not push into the room with you guys if you're still there, so take your time if you need to and just peck away at the tank. Now, if you don't know already, the tank's crit spots are its wheels or thrusters. However y'all want to put it. Anyway, it's the things keeping the tank rolling, you know? After the tank and unstop are dead and you're pushing up the ramps, there's a door right up the first set of ramps and it will spawn a few incinerators and a barrier champ. No need to use heavy on it, just waste it as a unit, you have plenty of time. After it's gone, a few more adds are going to spawn and an unstop pushing down from the upper ramp right above you to your right. It's the same scenario, just take your time, no need to waste your heavy or a super, just get a stun and take off the few little adds and then y'all just bully the unstop. Now, once you pull the lever, this is one of the big crucial moments. There are two things that are going to happen. One, a small group of dogs are going to spawn right behind you from the door. And two, a tormentor and a bunch of turrets are going to spawn in front of you from the elevator. You can suspend, blind, or suppress the tormentor to cause him to close his eyes and not push you. Like a suppressor nade or a smoke bomb, a blinding nade works. I definitely know the blinding grenade works, even a malicious birthright if you've got that roll. Now, this tormentor is not like the one from the hypercurrent GM that was last week. That one is technically immune from all these effects. This one is vulnerable to all those effects, allowing him to be suspended to the air or blinded. So take advantage of that. If you have the two-tailed fox and that has suppression on it, so that's something you can consider if you don't have these other methods. But after you get the tormentor down 1/3, it spawns a whole bunch of adds and an unstop from this door where the dogs spawned a moment ago. Now I swept them up pretty quick with my super, but if you aren't as capable, try getting a stun on the unstop real quick and then backing down the ramp. The tormentor and the unstop should push you solo, allowing you to take the fight a lot less with just those heavier guys and allowing you to clear the adds in the meantime. After getting it down another third, it will spawn a group of dogs at the same door and one group of dogs at the door where the barrier spawned at the beginning. For the most part, these dogs are not super threatening. They're just another group of adds for you to kill in the meantime of fighting the Tormentor. So after you kill them, go right back to the Tormentor and burn him down as a team because he's on his last third of his health bar. Now, I know I talked a lot about this section, and it is probably the section in which people will struggle with most, but don't let that intimidate you. It's just a bunch of adds and a few threats. Entering the final room, before the boss phase, you'll jump up where there's usually just a couple of adds, but I managed to catch the barrier off spawn. Now, this isn't typical, but I did take advantage of it. Now, right below us is an unstoppable, and I'll show you what normally it would look like when jumping up here. The point of this is just playing cover, stunning the champs, and while they're stunned, taking out the smaller adds until it's just you and the champs mono-y-mono. After you're through both of the barriers and the unstop that have spawned in this room, and you're onto the elevator, then another unstop will spawn, and it's very easy just to burn him down because he's basically solo. Now, when getting on the elevator, exit to your left as soon as you can before the elevator has finished escalating to the top, because the turrets will bury you alive with their firepower if you wait all the way to the top. Now, focus the turns because the boss isn't going anywhere. After it's just you and the boss, I'd get different angles on him and start poking away at him until he jumps onto his tower. It's important to note that the boss's laser will go from green to yellow, orange, and then red before he shoots. So when you see that laser turn orange, just duck behind your cover and wait for the shot. Now once he gets up to his tower, I recommend, if possible, that you and your team do a quick 3-2-1 shoot method. That way, you'll all get as much DPS onto that because you can push past his damage gate of 1/3. After you get past 1/3 of his health, he puts his shield up and a lot of ads spawn to your left on the left side of the map. No champs, just a bunch of ads. They are a little bit of aggressive because they're gladiators and they're that one type of cabal that can float around and shoot you with this cannon, but they're not the biggest threat. You're going to have one of those ships from earlier come where you can shoot the cannon right off the top. You can't destroy the whole ship, but you can shoot the cannon right off the front, and that's exactly what you and your team need to do. Focus that ship's cannon. You want to knock it off as soon as possible. Use whatever means necessary, because that ship's firepower is the biggest threat at the moment. Once you get the ball, a couple more ads will spawn, and dunking it should be no problem. I didn't even have to fight the ads that spawned when I picked it up. I just went over there and dunked it. But after you dunk it, clear a couple of ads and focus the boss. With that being said, if you have any teammates that are down, make sure to revive them before picking up the ball and before dunking it. That way that only you guys are back up before more ads are spawning. A couple rockets later, the boss is going to be down to 1/3 of his health, and he will jump back up on top of the tower. A bunch of ads are going to spawn right next to the spot where I've been camping, so prepare yourself or reposition. Your next biggest threat is on its way, and it's going to be a thresher flying right over your head. So you as a team need to take that out, basically forgetting about all of the ads around because that thresher will kill you first. Hopefully you have a little bit of heavy that you can just shoot at the thresher as a unit and then just kill that thing before it puts any kind of work on you and your team. Once the thresher's dead, it's actually pretty smooth sailing from here. You got a couple more ads, one more ball to dunk, and then you go to burning down the boss. Now I will say, once he jumps down and you're down to his last little bit, although he's not very healthy and easy to burn with all of your supers and heavy, there's one thing worth noting, and that's a whole bunch of turrets are going to spawn. So if you aren't burning it down very, very quickly, then make sure you're playing towards the right side of the map or focus those turrets if it ends up coming down to it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys get tons of loot. This is definitely something very farmable for you guys to get some exotics, some ascendant shards, or maybe you're even going for that malicious birthright. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have a positive day, and I love you all. Peace.